Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Daniel Norton, photographer here in New York City. If you're new to the channel, we talk about philosophy, gear, and technique here, and today we're going to continue our minimalist photographer series. This we're going to continue with our lighting gear. Basically, I talked about last time the idea of effectively 20% of your gear doing 80% of your stuff. For me, it's more like 5% of my gear doing 95%, but in any case, in this single bag here, I have the modifiers that I use the most. Now, modifiers was one I really had to think about if I even wanted to do. If you watch a lot of my live streams for Adorama, you'll see me use things like beauty dishes, magnum reflectors, all kinds of big octagons, giant umbrellas, all these things that are really cool and they're fun to demonstrate how things work when you're teaching photography. But again, in most of my work, I don't use that as my go-to. In this small bag are the things I use the most. I'm going to talk about what I have here, how they might be useful to you, how I use them, and I would love to know in the comments below what's your go-to modifiers for your lights. So let's dig into this bag and let's talk. All right, so I'm going to start with something a little bit unusual. There's a few unusual things here, and that is a frame. If you've watched any videos I've done, you've probably seen me use these a bunch. I've used different brands and stuff, but the one that I prefer is the Chimera panel frames. They fit, this is a 4x4 frame. I'm not going to set it up right now, it'd be big. It fits into this little tiny bag. It fits into like the 5/8 connector on a C-stand, which makes it super versatile. So if I go to a studio and they have C-stands, I'm good to go. Most of the time I use either a full or a 3/4 fabric for a diffuser. I do have reflectors and stuff for them, but I usually use it as a diffuser. So if I'm making a kit of what I usually use, that's it. Now, as far as modifiers that go directly on lights, I have a few different soft boxes. Let me talk about each one and why I use them. Okay, first I have the Chimera extra small, shallow, silver interior softbox. This is my go-to softbox. I made a video about why it's my favorite softbox. It's small enough to be controllable, but large enough that it'll still be soft for a single person portrait. It's, again, probably my go-to light source. When I'm shooting a single portrait, I would say 95% of the time I start with this. This one here is a little bit unusual, I think, for most people. This is a Pro 2 softbox from Chimera. And the reason why it's a Pro 2 softbox is you probably can notice here that the front of it is not recessed. So you can't put a grid on it or anything like that. But that's the point. I use this instead of umbrellas. While I often use umbrellas as well, this serves the same purpose for me. It spreads the light wide. If I'm shooting multiple people or full-length shots with a softbox, this is generally my go-to box. The reason why I like a softbox over an umbrella is that it gives me, even this still gives me a little bit more control of any spread in the room, especially if you're on a location. You don't necessarily want the light bouncing all around the room, and umbrellas tend to throw light everywhere no matter what you do. I'm waiting for that comment below that tells me that's not true. By the way, if you're following along and you're making notes or something, no need. Check out the description below, follow the link. It will basically sign you up for my mailing list, but when you do that, you will get a free PDF of all the gear I'm using in all of these minimalist photographer videos. So it'll be the first video about the lighting and then this one and about cameras and some other stuff I'm going to talk about as well. So if you're interested in that, description. Anyways, one more thing, which is really, it's a kind of a unique light. And again, I've done a video using this light. Whenever people see it, they're always like, oh, that's cool. This one is, if I had to have just one thing in here and I was making portraits, this would probably be the source. Okay, it's kind of hard to see here, but this is the Chimera lantern. So what the lantern does is exactly what you might imagine, right? It's a big ball of light, and it's great for multiple people. It's great for shaping the light on a single subject for beauty. It kind of creates this like globe of light that you can put right in front of somebody, or you can put it between two people talking. It's great for interviews. It's just a really cool light, often used more by filmmakers than photographers, which I guess is why I like it. So those are my go-to sources. I would love to know what yours are. What are those soft boxes, the umbrellas, the modifiers that you go to? What would you have in your minimalist kit? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a link to my Patreon. You can check that out and see if any of that appeals to you. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord server. You can join there and join the conversation. That's open to anybody. Just be cool, you know? And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you want to see next. If you haven't already, subscribe, like the video. You got this far, I hope you like it, and I'll see you next time.